traveling through the Scottish Highlands, you can't help but feel the dramatic power of nature and the history of this wild landscape. Blair Castle has commanded a strategic position on the route north.
When I married into the British aristocracy, it was the start of a wonderfully exciting journey. But it was also a little daunting. I became a Viscountess, and for an American girl from a small town outside Chicago, that was quite a shock.
I live with my husband Luke, heir to the Earl of Sandwich, and our family at Mapperton House in Dorset.
Living in a place like this is a joy, but also a challenge. And every day, we're aware that we're preserving a very special part of Britain's heritage. Mapperton has opened up an extraordinary new world for me, and I can't wait to share it with you all.
So if you love castles and manors and stately homes as much as I do, please join this American Viscountess as I journey into the British countryside in search of some of Britain's finest historic houses.
Blair Castle is the ancestral home of the Atholl family. Today, the castle and the 120,000-acre estates are managed by Sarah Troughton, alongside her son Bertie, who has promised to give me a tour of the interiors.
Hi, Julie. How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm very well. Thank you so much for coming.
Goodness,
Come on in.
thank you so much for having me. And, whew. Okay, so let's start from the beginning here, Bertie. I've just arrived. This is the main entrance to the castle, is that right?
Yep, the main entrance to the castle, and as you kind of saw outside, very much the Victorian Scots baronial style of castellations, and this is one of the few rooms that the public will see that was also a later addition.
Okay.
So this is an 1870 room. The building is an evolving story, but the interiors are majority Georgian, and really spectacular Georgian interiors, but with this is a Victorian addition.
Right. And so the baronial, obviously Victorian baronial style here that I see on the outside, how did that come to be? This was then what you're saying, a Georgian house, if you like.
Yeah, partly through the employment of David Bryce as an architect, who was employed throughout the 1860s and 1870s to create a more exciting Victorian fairy tale castle appearance.
Right.
Because after the Jacobite wars of 1745 and all the political turmoil, the castle up to that point had very much been a castle. This was the last castle ever to be under siege in the UK. And politically, the family wanted to just be like, we're not going to cause you any trouble. We're very low-key people. So the castle became Atholl House, which was a very dull Georgian facade.
Okay.
And then, mid-19th century, the railway arrived, new slug of money, friendships with the royals, always trying to keep up with Queen Victoria, you know, the usual story.
Yes, yes.
So then it was all about castellations and aggrandizement of the castle. And that's what you see outside, but you also see in this room.
Okay, wonderful, absolutely wonderful.
But I'll take you up the main staircase. We'll go into the dining room and have a look in there.
Blair Castle welcomes over 140,000 visitors each year, with 30 rooms in the castle open to the public. I could not wait to explore.
So, Julie, this is the tea room. And we've got a big fan display in here at the moment because we were just amused by this idea of Georgians and even Victorians as well sitting around having their tea, flirting with their fans.
Right.
So different movements would mean different things.
What?
So if you were, you know, you might be sitting there having your tea some chap over here might be trying to chat you up, but you would be having none of it and would be closing your fan and putting it to your right cheek, which would be like, enough with you, I'm engaged. Like, big on. Or you might open it and coyly play with your other hand, which might be, oh, I'm interested, you know, let's talk later.
Goodness.
Yeah. But then if your next meal would be in here, in the dining room. And
it's exquisite. Georgian again, yes.
Georgian again. And all this plasterwork throughout the castle took about 10 years, from 1740s and 1750s. And they spent a huge amount on the interiors after the 1745 uprising, when the exterior of the castle was made as dull as possible. They made the interior as lavish as possible.
Yes.
Thomas Clayton, he was called, the plasterer, and he was also doing Holyrood Palace at the same time.
Was he? Oh my goodness, I mean it's just exquisite.
And then I guess these were the two outfits owned by the 6th Duke and Duchess, so that's sort of 1860s. They were the ones that were great friends of the Queen Victoria.
Yes, yes.
And this is what they would have worn. With
dinner.
her tiny waist.
Yeah,
I
look at
actually
that.
could have eaten anything.
I mean, yeah, I know, exactly. Do you ever use the dining room? Christmas, big parties?
Well, it's 100 meters away from the nearest kitchen. So,
Is it really?
so it's not very practical. But occasionally we clear the table away and have a big party in here.
Right, okay, so it is used.
Yeah. And all these paintings are of scenes from around the estate.
Wonderful. Well, it's absolutely exquisite. And, the Georgians just did know how to do interiors, didn't they?
Yeah, it's a good room.
Yeah, very good.
The exquisite dress on display in the dining room is one of a number featured throughout these rooms, each with their own beautiful story to tell.
Bertie, oh my goodness. So this is the drawing room.
This is the drawing room, and we've got 3 dresses on display here, dating from the Jacobite era. So this one is about 1750, just afterwards, which would have been roughly when this room was done up to be like this. Up until 1500s, 1600s, it would have been part of a banqueting hall.
Okay.
And then, the Georgians got at it and really went for it. And then the last dress over here is from the Queen Victoria era. So the 6th Duchess would have worn this. And if you look very closely, it's actually made out of, we think about 5,000 beetle wings.
What? What? No. Oh my goodness.
It was up in the attics for a good 100 years, all in tissue paper, with just a label with my grandmother had written costumes on it. And it was, so we only recently got them all out.
A find.
And we can only have them on display for a couple of years max.
Right.
And then we'll have to put them back into the tissue paper and conserve them.
Yes.
It's obviously an amazing room, but it also epitomizes this idea of Georgian hosting and hospitality. This room in particular tells the story of the 4th Duke and Duchess.
Right.
And the 4th Duke would fit in very well at Mapperton. He was known for planting trees. He was known as the planting Duke.
Okay.
He planted about 20 million, we think. So mostly on the southern bit of the estate, from
You're kidding me.
Dunkeld all the way up, yeah.
He planted about 20 million trees.
Predominantly larch trees.
Wow. I can also see dotted around lots of sort of the coronets showing off, yes, they were powerful and mighty, and here's our coronet. And
here's our marble. I think they were also saying is that the marble on these tops and around the castle, this beautiful kind of greeny grey marble, is all from the local river, the River Tilt.
Right, so they didn't, head on over to Carrara and
No need.
No need. You have it right here. Who knew that you had marble right here? That's quite exquisite marble right here in Scotland.
Well, Blair Atholl is known as the gateway to the Highlands.
Yes.
And part of that is the big geological shift.
Right.
Where marble is then made.
Well, absolutely exquisite. And so again, I have to ask, do you use this as well?
Definitely. This room gets used for drinks receptions quite a lot. The furniture is too precious.
Right.
So is moved out. but then it is a big entertaining space.
Okay.
To hear more about some of the key moments of history here at Blair Castle, I met up with Sarah Troughton in the private library.
What is, of course, so beautiful about Blair Castle is not just the house itself, it's a beautiful castle, but where it is. This atmosphere of the Highland, the landscape. I mean, it's idyllic. It's so beautiful.
Well, yeah. I mean, the first bit of the castle was built in 1269, so that was a long time ago. And it was built where it was built because of the landscape, because this is where the Strath or wider valley becomes narrower as it becomes Glengarry, Garry being the river.
Yes.
And so in defensive terms, whoever controlled this spot controlled the gateway to the Highlands. It's played a major part in history. Its sighting over the years, Bonnie Prince Charlie, its army on the retreat north to Culloden was stationed here for a while. The Duke absented himself as he was a Hanoverian.
Right,
but his brothers were Jacobites, so there's a whole history there of the divided family, which is very typical.
Yes.
When Queen Victoria visited the Highlands, which I think the first time she came up was in 1842, she absolutely fell in love with the Highlands, which really start at Dunkeld, which is the sort of southern end of the estate. Then when she was feeling a bit weak after her birth of her second child, she decided to ask the Duke and Duchess if she could take over their house. And they had a very, very private visit here, which was exactly what she wanted. But the Duchess and Queen Victoria became very good friends and remained very close for the rest of her life. The Duchess was the mistress of the bedchamber, which was the sort of highest point in her household.
Duchess Anne is one of a long line of impressive women at Blair Castle. As a girl growing up here, Sarah remembers meeting Kitty, the 8th Duchess, in her apartments.
I can remember her. I was probably about 12 when she died.
Okay.
And I remember her as a charming old lady who could play the piano and would play anything I asked her to play on it. But before that, she'd been a very formidable lady. When she married the Duke, she was training to be a concert pianist and would have been a concert pianist. And she trained in Germany and spoke German fluently.
And so roughly what period are we at right now?
Well, they married in 1899.
Right.
So she would have been training in the very end of the 19th century.
Oh my goodness.
Because she married, he was the Marquis of Tully-Barden then, but he was going to be the Duke. She gave up her career as a concert pianist and supported him, and actually never had any children. I think she just wasn't able to have children, which was a sadness.
Right.
But she made the most of her time, and she took up all sorts of good causes and then became quite political, and she became the first female MP in Scotland. And then she became the first ever female Minister of State. She was Minister of State of Education. And so she had a very sort of good political career. But when, in the 30s, when Hitler was first coming to power, she read, much earlier than most British people, she read his book Mein Kampf in German, because she was so fluent in German, it was just as easy for her to read it in German. And she realized how very, very dangerous the Nazis were at that stage. So when Chamberlain went through appeasement and all that, she gave up the Conservative whip, along with actually Winston Churchill. But then Winston Churchill went back to the Conservative side, and she didn't.
Yes.
So when the next election came along, she had to stand as an independent.
And then she didn't.
And she didn't get her seat. I mean, she very, very nearly retained it. She was a very highly intelligent lady, and a very determined lady. She was petite. She
Right.
was very small. And she took no truck from
Small
anyone.
but mighty, small but mighty.
Small but mighty.
And in the meantime, she's married to the 8th Duke, is that right?
Yes. I mean, he was a very successful soldier up until towards the end of the First World War, when his father died and he actually became the Duke.
Right.
He then returned to Blair, and I think his primary concern was the estate. He was very well liked. He was obviously a very nice man. He wasn't a very efficient estate manager.
Okay.
The estate was in a lot of debt when he inherited it, and every attempt he made to get it out of debt was a failure, basically.
Right, right. Oh dear.
And so in the 30s, he went bankrupt.
Right. Oh.
But he was rescued by my great-grandmother, so he was never actually had to declare bankruptcy.
Oh my goodness.
So that was lucky.
The 20th century was a century of challenge and uncertainty for Blair Castle. But it was the women of the family who led the way in ensuring the survival of the castle and estate for the future.
The pioneer was really my great-grandmother. She insisted that it was her company that ran the place, and they got the house ready to open to the public, which
my
they did in
goodness.
1936.
In 1936.
Yes,
so
it was one of the very first ones to open. The 8th Duchess, Kitty, lived here on this floor, and at the far end of the castle, the 9th Duke, who was a bachelor, her brother-in-law, lived. And then in what's known as the South End, my family lived.
Okay.
My mother and my half-brother. And
Right.
me. The sort of odd ménage à trois. You never knew at any mealtime when I was a child who might or might not turn up for it.
How brilliant. Yeah.
But anyway, they all got along, and my mother
Yeah.
ran the show. She was the one who was in charge.
Right.
And she was a very, very practical businesswoman, so she got things sorted out.
Right. Looking to the future, I'm always really interested as a fellow historic house owner. We're here as the custodians in order to make sure that these places survive for those future generations. And is that something, Sarah, that you do think about?
Yes, it is. I think I put it into two categories. There's one is the history, the castle, the artifacts, all that sort of thing that has to be preserved at all cost. But, it takes money to keep the roof on.
Yes,
So
it does.
obviously, I'm very pleased to have a lot of visitors. But then there's the other side of the business, which is much more business orientated. And you make sure that that's going to make enough money to keep the infrastructure of the place going, to provide decent jobs for people, as well as supporting the castle. I never think, shall we do the roof or shall we build a farm building?
Right.
The farm building has to pay for the farm building.
Right.
The roof has to be done however you get the money, even if you take it off, another successful part of the business.
So true.
And I mean, there's a big reward too in seeing happy visitors and people, I often walk through the rooms just as if I was a tourist.
Yes.
To visitors sort of look. And I really get quite a kick actually out of when I hear somebody discuss how lovely something is,
Yes.
or how well displayed it is, or, you get nice feedback.
You do. Well, I'm a happy visitor. I mean, what a wonderful, special place, but I'm a very happy visitor here, so thank you.
Good, well, I'm glad.
The attics at Blair Castle are off limits to visitors, but Bertie kindly agreed to show me the treasure trove of family history stored in the Warren of Rooms. Absolute heaven for me.
So, Julie, this is a section of the attics. There's probably over 60 rooms of attics.
What's amazing about these attics when you go to these historic houses, now this is history. Look at this.
It's wonderful, isn't it? We're now on the top third section of the attic. And these are the furniture rooms. This looks like chaos, but I assure you,
it doesn't. It doesn't look like chaos.
We know what's going on in here.
It looks like going into an antiques furniture.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just brilliant, Bertie.
You'll love these bits around here. So Julie, this room is quite good at giving you a picture of how the castle sort of operated in the 19th century.
Right.
So this is how all the rooms would have been lit through these little gas-fired lights and bulbs.
These ones as well?
Yeah, even the little ones.
They're beautiful.
They're really cool.
Yeah.
And then in about 1905, we built a hydro power station. And then in 1951, the castle went on to mains electricity.
Right, mains electricity,
So
right.
decommissioned that. So this would have been throughout probably the Victorian era.
Yes.
This is exactly how everything would have been lit.
Right. And I mean, it's just interesting to see how, of course, right here, just in this room, you can actually visualize how the castle has evolved to modern day electricity and looking what it was, during the Victorian era and where we are today.
There's a lot of things up here. All the best stuff is obviously downstairs and open to the public.
Yes.
But, we can't show everything the whole time. So it's that balance between conserving some stuff, showing stuff, and keeping the stories fresh and interesting.
But I guess it also gives you that opportunity to sort of change it up on what you're displaying for the public.
Well, Julie, I think you'll like it in this room because it's full of obscure old treasures.
Yes.
It's got everything from a cannon wheel, old whiskey stills, to pots and pans, to travelling chests. There's quite nice old telephones in here.
There certainly are. You could have a whole telephone exhibition.
We should.
Don't you think so? This is incredible.
The castle was the first building in the area to get a telephone. So you'd call up the operator and you'd say, just give me number 1.
Right.
Right. Number 1 in Blair Castle.
Right.
And it was the only line, and it would come through here.
Hi there, just calling from Blair Castle in Scotland. I was just wondering if you could connect me to Mapperton in West Dorset.
Connecting you now, madam.
Oh, perfect. I mean, that's amazing.
So there's so many things in here, Julie. We've got Duchess Louisa's medicine cabinet in there.
Can I?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Thank you. I feel very honored.
I'm clutching this little trumpet, which I should put back.
It's quite sweet. It's really sweet. Look at this. This is unbelievable. No. Wait.
So your kind of Victorian ailments would have been...
There.
Yeah.
Look at that.
I wonder what's in there.
Yeah, I know. This is incredible. This is absolutely beautiful. Look at the velvet there and the leather case. It's beautiful.
I bet you like that one.
Okay, this says, last gentleman, please close the box. Okay, what is this box?
It's a party box.
Oh, it is. Wow. Look at gin, whiskey, sherry, brandy. I mean, whiskey is sort of the drink of Scotland, isn't it?
Not only Scotland, but Blair Castle is the home of Keepers of the Quake, which is the world, mecca of whiskey. Quake is the wonderful little silver bowl that you drink whiskey from.
Okay.
And houses like Blair would have made their own whiskey. We always knew that we had this very old whiskey in the cellars. Okay. And we recently sent it off to be carbon dated because we had the plaques and the signs with it saying it was from 1841. And we tasted, my dad and I drank it, and it was amazing. And we sent it off, and it's come back carbon dated as, it's authentic. So we think it's the oldest Scottish whiskey in the world. And, Queen Victoria was coming and staying in 1844. So we're pretty sure that when Dad and I were tasting this whiskey, it was the same whiskey that Queen Victoria drank.
Yes, this is my favorite find so far.
And if there's any left, we'll have a drink.
I certainly will.
So only 60 more rooms to show you.
Okay.
Blair Castle is encircled by beautifully tended gardens and mature trees. But beyond, the drama of the Highlands beckon. Where better to catch a glimpse of the scale of the Atholl estates than high up on the roof of the castle?
Oh my goodness!
It's the oldest part of the castle, I think dating back to 13th century. And then you've got Cairngorm National Park, kind of all that way. And then the more managed landscape immediately around the castle, which you can see.
Okay, oldest part of the castle here. And how long a period did it take to build the castle that we see today?
It's never one period. It's an evolved design. And it's a design that started from the period of the Crusades, was essentially a land grab.
Right.
And then you've got Cummins Tower, which we're on now. It's kind of 13th century, and expanded a lot into sort of medieval halls in the 15th and 16th century. And then with the Victorian era and this craze across Scotland of kind of baronial castellations is really the look of the castle, the exterior look of the castle today. So the outside is a complete is a mishmash of 750 years.
I mean, how wonderful. You know, I'm looking out on this incredible landscape, but I think times are evolving as well with what we're seeing out in the landscape and what sort of our forebears did with it. We're having to rethink. And is that what you're doing as well? Are you looking at this thinking, right, I am managing thousands of acres, what am I going to do with it?
Yeah, I think the conception of what is a wild landscape is changing. And you know, you're doing rewilding at Mapperton, and we're taking a similar approach, but for this landscape, I guess.
Right, yes.
In terms of afforestation, so we're creating a lot of native woodlands on quite a large scale. We're probably hoping to plant 2 million trees in the next 3 years, and then try and do some more of that. And also up here, a lot of these hills are peatland, where you can't grow trees, and they would have been drained either in the Victorian era or even under the 1960s government schemes. So we're doing a lot of peatland restoration, which essentially means re-wetting peatland.
Yes.
But both of those things, the afforestation or the peatland restoration, create a lot of increase in biodiversity, which is a very nice thing. So you hopefully will see a lot more birds, wildlife, flora and fauna, and generally kind of healthier thing, as well as being carbon storage sinks.
Yes, exactly.
And then with the farming, we're very taken with the regenerative farming principles, which is essentially the healthier you can make your soils, the better farming you can do. And by better farming, we really mean by having zero inputs. So we're not trying to put any chemicals on the ground or medicines in the animal. And you know, that's not something where you can draw a line and it happens overnight. Right. But there's been a big, I say, cultural change, and we're really excited about it, because I think it's the right thing to do, but it also feels like you're connecting farming with nature rather than just exploiting soil.
That's exactly right. And I think it's the same at Mapperton. It's about finding the right balance. So, and it's looking at ways, you know, that we can rewild at Mapperton, in particular, those farms that are marginal farmland, but at the same time, keeping farms in hand that, again, are for food production, but also going down that model of regenerative farming and looking in particular at the health of the soil and how important that is. And
it's all about knowing what's right for that bit of land. I think with all these historic houses, there's always a big connection between the land that is around the house, and both in a managed sense, often like the immediate policy grounds or parkland, but then particularly in Scotland, in the Highlands, as you get out into the mountains, having a story that relates the house to the land, I think, is very important.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said. I couldn't have said it better myself. I also just want to note, I love the Scottish flag there.
The Atholl estates have a long tradition of woodlands management, as well as commercial forestry. I met up with Georgie Pelly, native woodland consultant, to hear more about how the ancient woodland here is being revived.
So Georgie, you've been here working with Atholl Estate for some time now, is that right?
Yeah, the last 3-4 years or so we've been engaged with the estates.
And what's your role in this beautiful landscape here?
Yeah, so we came in to help the estate sort of shift their woodland management into a different phase. So at Atholl, they have this really extraordinary history of forest management in Scotland, where they've really contributed to the development of forestry. Really since the 17th century, they were a place renowned for their forestry. And that's sort of going right back to some kind of quirky characters where one of the dukes was so intent on expanding the forest that he would spray seed across hillsides with cannons.
What? So he would literally shoot a cannon out that was filled with seed.
That's the story. That is the story.
Oh
yeah, so just finding these really innovative ways of expanding the forest at Atholl.
Right.
So there's thousands of hectares now that are established, really quite diverse commercial woods at Atholl. And a few hundred years ago, they were bare hills.
Okay.
So they have this real tradition of transforming the landscape here, of really taking and changing the landscape through forestry, through new woodlands. And in the past, that's been with this focus on commercial species of growing timber.
Right.
Now it's a slightly different shift, and
Yeah.
it's going more towards this ecological restoration.
Right.
So yeah, it's been a real change.
So it's how fascinating, and it's almost, I mean, if I don't mind, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there is this real shift across the country in going back to this nature recovery, right?
Absolutely.
And farming same way, right?
Absolutely.
So nature recovery, regenerative farming.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, we're seeing that real shift across Scotland. Here at Atholl, they're making that move. It's not to say they're moving entirely away from commercial forestry, it's still part of the picture. But
trying to find the balance.
Absolutely, yeah. So that's why we're working in areas like this where we have these sort of remnants of native woodlands.
Yes.
With these sort of key species.
Where they're dotted around.
Mm-hmm. And you can see where trees have been lost, and you have that retreating canopy cover. So the footprint of the forest has been shrinking over the years just through different land uses. And so this is about bringing that shift where we start to regenerate that land to allow these woodlands to regenerate and create more expansive areas of woodland habitat that link up and bring all these different benefits that we know we do.
Right, exactly. Biodiversity,
Absolutely.
all of that. So when I'm looking to my left here and you can see these sort of native, these are native, right?
These are native trees.
You think, gosh, what can I do with this? Is that right?
Absolutely, yeah. So there's evidence of the way the land's been used, for lots of different reasons, but it's been grazed by sheep and by deer.
Yes,
and that's
yes.
part of the picture here, but it's just about trying to maybe shift that balance a bit now so that these woodlands are not lost entirely. I mean, what we see up Glen Tilt, these remnants, they're probably the remnants of the first forest to come in post-glacial times,
Right.
So the genetic continuity of maintaining the trees that we have now and avoiding losing them.
Yes.
There's sort of that key genetic material that if we
of
lose
course.
it, it's gone.
It's gone.
And that's that whole, sort of journey through from the glacial time.
Yes.
So
Incredible, and it's about trying to preserve that.
absolutely, yeah.
And when I also look to my right, though, I can see sort of dotted around sort of bundles of logs. Is that you as well?
Yeah, this is quite a big piece of the picture that we're trying to shift in this glen. So this is the start of a really large scheme, a new planting scheme, a native woodland scheme.
Right.
So that's the first evidence of the fence line coming in, and that will be a deer fence. So we'll be excluding deer from quite a significant area.
Yes.
For the first sort of 20, 30 years, really, to allow those trees to establish fully in that time.
Wonderful.
And for a scheme like this, it's we're talking about sort of 500 hectares or so in size.
Yes.
And sort of 400, 500,000 trees.
Yes, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Because as much as we love deer, they can be quite damaging to, again, new life.
Absolutely, that's it. They do naturally browse on these seedlings that are coming through, and they just If where that happens repeatedly, those trees just won't quite
Make it.
quite grow. Exactly, they won't make it. So it's just especially somewhere where we're establishing a lot of new seedlings. It's not just relying on the natural regeneration. There's areas where we don't have that seed source, so we come in, we plant seedlings, and we have to protect them.
And you have to protect them, right? So you're really helping and aiding in this recovery of nature.
Absolutely, that's what it's about. Yeah, really trying to kickstart those natural processes again, bring the trees back into the landscape in these areas, and then all the benefits that they're associated with. Like, as you said, the biodiversity, really focusing in on the soils and how they develop. The water moving through the landscape.
Exactly.
I think it's really interesting here at Atholl. It is looking for a balance. Genuinely, it's not a full shift from the traditional land use to just full rewilding. It's somewhere where they're trying to find a balance between different land uses. Still have the farming, still have your stocking, but have your woodlands and expand them as well within that wider picture.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, thank you, Georgie. This is brilliant. Well, gosh, if I could come back here in about, 20 to 30 years, and I might see
a significant difference.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
It is absolutely all about balance, protecting new plant life and controlling the deer population who majestically roam these hills. Highland ponies have long worked and been bred on the Atholl estates, their bloodline dating as far back as the 1860s. Both Queen Victoria and Queen Elizabeth II were passionate about these beautiful but hardy ponies. I joined Gilly, Campbell's String, out on the hills to hear how these plucky ponies are upholding Highland traditions.
Okay, Campbell, so nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
And who do we have here?
This is Huey and this is Lovett.
Huey and Lovett. Wow, okay, so do they want to be walked? Should we start walking?
Yeah, let's start walking,
Okay.
yeah. This one's a bit of an impatient one, he's only young.
Okay, I have never been this up close and personal to a Highland pony before, so this is very exciting for me, but they're lovely creatures, aren't
Aye,
they?
lovely, gentle creatures.
Yeah, oh, so I can happy to...
Ah, yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay, wow. So tell me a little bit about Highland ponies. I mean, they're a real staple here in the sort of the Highlands, yes.
Aye, they're very traditional in the deer stalking world. It's the oldest and most traditional way of taking shot deer off the hill.
Okay, and that's what they're doing. Is that what these are for? 'Cause I saw these saddles and I thought, oh my goodness, has Campbell put them on? Are we going for a ride?
No, these are traditional deer saddles. There's not much padding to them, as you can probably hear.
Right.
They're made of basically really, really hard leather to cope with the weight of a very heavy stag on it.
Right, of a very heavy stag, right.
They can be upwards of 144, 150 kilograms.
Right.
They're very heavy.
Ooh, is it now? Okay. This one, Lovett likes to. Yes.
Aye, he's only 5. He's quite
He's
young.
only 5. Oh my gosh, he's sweet. Okay, so when you're culling the deer, putting them on the back of these Highland ponies, yes?
Yes.
But there is a purpose around culling the deer, isn't there?
Yeah, it's just if you have too many deer, you won't have any plant life.
Right.
The deer will eat it all. You won't have any trees. You'll have none of that. So it's just to keep a natural balance within because the deer have no predators.
Right, of course. There's the wolves are gone.
Yeah.
And we are here in beautiful Scotland. It's just green, it's luscious, and keeping a healthy balance, if you like, of the population is brilliant for regeneration, right? Because that's what the deer can damage landscape, can't they?
They can damage a lot of landscapes, but also help a lot as well.
Right.
With keeping plants, unwanted, non-native invasive species down. They're very good at that. So last thing anyone wants is no deer there.
And this is really the job of the Highland ponies, is that right?
Yes, it's essentially taking shot deer off the hill is their main purpose. On some estates in Scotland, you do a bit of grouse shooting. Right. So sometimes they'll go with panniers, which are big wicker baskets that sit on the side of the ponies, and you'll take slunge up the hill and take the shot grouse back off the hill with them. Because there's huge, vast places in Scotland you can't get a machine to.
Yes, no, of course. So you've got to have Right, it's like the good old days.
Exactly,
right?
yes.
Yeah, no machinery, just good old ponies. But I mean, so sweet. Well, listen, Campbell, thank you so much for explaining this to me. And it was so wonderful to meet Huey and Lovett. And I think that they are very hungry right now because they've both sort of nosed down into the ground.
They're always hungry.
They're always hungry.
They're always eating. If they're not walking, they're eating, or they're walking and eating.
Back at the castle, I met up with Andrew Bruce Wooten to understand more about the wider estate and also an ingenious renewable energy project.
So tell me a little bit more about the wider estate.
Well, the castle is obviously the hub, it's the heart of the estate, and it's what a lot of people think about when they think of Atholl, this big white castle off the A9. But it's just the centre of a large spiderweb of activity, which includes all the traditional enterprises you'd think of, like farming and forestry and deer and housing, with a lot of housing, provision of housing to the local economy. And now increasingly tourism, so lots of people, which is fantastic. A lot of them are just enjoying the wide open spaces, which they're free to do.
Yes.
And then a lot of them stay on the estate and they make it their holiday destination. And then others come and enjoy the castle, and either for the day, or they might get married here, or they might have a business event here.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're open to all business.
One of the big projects I know that you have going on is sort of looking at different ways to power. Is that right? To power different houses on the estate? And tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so in the UK there was generally a big drive to smaller scale renewable energy in the last 20 years. And an opportunity came our way to look at hydro. And the estate has a history with hydro because we had a hydro scheme in the early part of the last century that powered the castle before mains electricity arrived here.
Right.
So, you know, we knew a thing or two about hydro to begin with. So we've developed 5 schemes on Atholl, which we're totaling about 3 megawatts. So not vast, but it's decentralized green energy, which is going into the grid. And at the castle, it's actually fully powering the castle before it goes into the grid.
So it had been here on the castle, what, for 100 years? Before it went on the mains?
Well, funnily enough, it was developed, as I say, in the early part of the last century, but it didn't have a huge, long life before mains electricity came in. So we could use the pipeline, we can use the intake, we could use the powerhouse. All we had to do was buy the turbine and the generator. And in fact, the turbine and generator manufacturer that produced the original 100 and something years ago, still in existence.
No.
So, yeah, so we've got the same manufacturer, modern technology, but basically the same turbine as was there 100 years ago. So yeah, it's grand.
Fantastic.
Come on in.
Okay. This is it.
Yeah. So.
Oh my goodness, I can hear it.
Yeah.
I can definitely, it's behind here, is that right?
It's a labour of love.
I clocked the sign out there, 1908.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's when it was first here, is that right?
Yeah, it provided power to the castle in very early days of electricity, and it provided power from about 1908 to just after the Second World War.
So really pioneering, right?
Completely,
yeah. Incredible.
Anyway, be prepared.
Okay. Be prepared for the beast. Oh my goodness! Wow. Fantastic. Tell me just a little bit about this design.
Yeah, so it's produces about 81 kilowatts of power.
Right.
It's got a high efficiency of about 55%, which is pretty good. It's got about 10 bar of pressure, so it's taking water off the hill. Instead of a river input, it's taking water off a ditch system on the hill, which makes it incredibly efficient. And it comes down through a 500 millimeter pipe, the old original pipe, to this point where it gets squeezed into that 300 mil pipe, and then squeezed even more, and then pushed into a turbine through jets. And that's what rotates the turbine.
Right, and that's what we're hearing.
And that's what you're hearing.
That's what we're hearing. Absolutely incredible. Thank you, Andrew. What a treat. to see this and just to see how
Pleasure.
we've evolved, or you've
Yeah.
evolved, but you've come back.
And there are schemes like this that are still going 100 years more.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this come back in 100 years, it'll be here.
Incredible. That's what we like to see. Thank you, Andrew.
An iconic image of the Scottish Highlands are Highland cattle grazing the hills. And at Blair Castle, they are part of the bigger picture of regenerative agriculture.
Gordon, it's so nice to meet you.
And you.
I've heard through the Blair Castle grapevine that you've been here for quite some time.
Yes.
Is that right? How long?
39 years.
30. Okay, no. So can we just pause for a second, because I do have slight fear of cows. I just thought I would mention this.
Yeah, they're fine. You'll be fine. Don't
Okay.
worry.
Okay, but those look quite pointy and sharp.
You just keep with me and you'll
Okay, I'm
be
going to
fine.
keep with you. Oh my gosh.
In
Okay.
fact, you
But
could
can
probably
they
just
smell my
stroke
fear?
her, see? No.
So can I give them a... Should I
Yeah.
close this gate?
Yeah, just come in.
Okay.
Yeah, she's fine. The other one's a wee bit more temperamental. She'll
Okay.
not bother you, but she'll just not come to you.
Okay.
This
Okay.
one is different.
Okay, great. When I look at these Highland cows, look at how sweet they are. This is what you expect to see when you come to Scotland, right?
Yeah.
So
More and more now. Stop it.
more and more now, and
Yeah.
why is that?
Because we use them for different systems now. We can put them out in the hill. The whole idea here now is to maybe get another 10 and they put collars on them and then they put them on the hill. You've got to remember, in Scotland, these were the main thing many, many years ago. It was all Highland cows because they're easy care. They're
Right.
great. They're actually lovely animals.
They are lovely, but no one seems to be coming towards my hand. Is that okay?
Yeah, she'll come. Look, if I take that bucket away,
Okay.
yeah, put your hand out.
Oh my gosh.
There you go.
Oh,
She's fine.
you
She'll
go.
not bother you.
okay.
Okay? The two, here.
Here we go.
There you go. There you are. That's better.
All right,
Now,
okay.
now they'll come in. This one here, she's a bit more
Okay, I'm going to
temperamental.
stand
There you go.
behind you there, Gordon.
There you go.
Right, so you're here on the estate, and
Yep.
you look after these lovely animals.
Yeah, these and another 150 cows and calves. And
And you've been here for 39 years. You
Yeah.
must have seen a lot of changes.
yeah, an awful lot of changes. When I came here, there was 11 people on the farm. Now there's basically 2 on the farms. So
Yeah.
the farm's changed over
Yeah.
the years. Systems have changed. We were in organics, so we were trying to do something different there.
Right.
But now the future is regenerative agriculture.
That's
so
right, regenerative
we're doing
farming.
something different, yeah.
Can I
which
do
is-
that? Is that
yeah,
okay?
of course it is.
Okay,
yeah.
wow.
So yeah, changing times. So we've all seen change throughout the world, and there'll be a lot more changes to come, I'm sure. Yeah.
But I have to say, it's really exciting to see these up close and personal. Okay, what was that?
Oh, they're just having fun.
Okay.
You're okay. Don't panic.
Okay. Gordon, can I just add that for the first time in a really long time, I feel more relaxed around cattle than ever before. So you must have your good energy of calmness is, it's affecting me. It's wearing off on me. It's brushing off on me.
I'm
What
glad
is
to
it?
hear it.
What's your special power?
It's just the ability to read cattle, really, read the way they are, the way they react to
Yeah.
things, It's
Yeah.
just, it's an act you pick up over years, It's just the same when they're going to calve, you know when they're going to calve.
Yeah.
It's just something you learn, and when you do learn it, they know that you know.
Right.
It's all right, they're just coming for the bucket,
Yeah,
you'll
that's
be fine.
okay. Thanks, Gordon.
Life's about fun, isn't it?
It is about fun. And gosh, I've really relaxed now. Now I feel good.
See, I'll just leave you here, you'll be fine. I'll come back in the morning, you'll still be here.
In 1842, just 5 years after she ascended to the throne, Queen Victoria visited Scotland for the first time. And 2 years later, Queen Victoria and Prince Albert returned to stay at Blair Castle. In the private library of the castle, Sarah Troughton explained more.
So Queen Victoria, 1844, she's here. This is before Balmoral, is that right? And is it because of her stay here that she decided, right, I want a residence in the Highlands as well?
Yes, I think she was very, very influenced by Prince Albert,
Right.
We loved it and immediately saw a connection between here and the German landscape. And if you go, there isn't a public road, but there's a very good footpath. If you go up Glen Tilt, I think it's about 30 miles to Balmoral if you take that route. It's
Oh my goodness.
But there's a famous picture of them, which is actually at Balmoral. We've got one or two of the sketches of her crossing the Taff, which was one on a pony, which is one of the rivers she had to cross in order to go on her way. There's not a bridge now, but there wasn't in her day. And she's on a pony with her skirts lifted up, but her two pipers are waist deep, still piping as they cross in front of her. And the poor pony boy and everybody else. It was quite a sort of funny picture, really.
Right. And also, I think this visit really helped to establish their love of the Highlands, and thus that's why we have Balmoral. People then wanted to come and go up north and visit because of the impact that I think Queen Victoria has made here in Scotland.
I think that's right. I think the timing was good. I mean, the whole Jacobite rebellion and, you know, banning tartan after that, which was only ever half banned, actually.
Right, yeah.
A lot of is made of the fact it was banned. All that was in the past.
Right.
I mean, it was 100 years in the past, so
Yes.
people were ready to appreciate the Highlands.
Yes.
And the Highlands have become a lot more modern by the Victorian era.
Right, right.
And were part of Britain, very firmly part of Britain. And I think that it was just the ready moment for more travellers and more people to appreciate it.
And to be able to experience the beauty
Yeah.
of the Scottish Highlands.
Oh, definitely.
In her diaries, Queen Victoria described the bold, wild scenery and how she and Prince Albert would drive out in the carriage along Glen Tilt, through woods overhanging the river. Details of the royals' stay at Blair, together with centuries of historic family documents, are kept secure in the archives of the castle. Sarah and I met archivist Karen Guthrie, and Sarah shared a chilling moment in the recent history of the castle.
There you go. This area of the castle, known as the clock tower, clocks above us, was burnt down in 2011. There was a fire. Under here used to be where the old wood chip boiler was working.
Yes.
And all the wood chip and the auger and the oil boiler to back it up. And the flue went up the tower,
Yes.
and it overheated and caught light to the rafters. And it was so high up, the heat for quite a long time didn't set off an alarm. And in fact, somebody saw it, luckily, because it was about 8 o'clock at night. Somebody who lives over there saw it. And then my dog was very anxious.
Right.
When I went to let him out, I saw these flames leaping out. Terrible.
How long did it take to put out the fire, and did the fire spread, or was it contained?
Amazingly, unfortunately, was contained in the area of the boiler below and the clock tower. When we came here, my husband absolutely insisted on putting on fire doors everywhere. He said that's very vulnerable, that area. And thank God they'd been installed, and it did keep the fire into just this area.
Right.
And you know, the archives in those days was stored up at the other end of the castle.
Well, that was going to be my next question, because here I am in the archive room, and I was thinking, oh dear, the archives, but they were stored, okay, in a different location.
Fortunately.
Oh, thank goodness. When you rebuilt this, How long did it take to rebuild? Because I know, these things take such time, especially at these historic houses.
It wasn't too bad. I think we obviously had to clear everything with the insurance, but I think it was about just over a year before we had this up and running.
And during that period, is that when you decided to move the archives in here and make this the new archive space? How did that come to be?
Yes, we decided immediately that any boiler we had in future was not going to be in the castle. It would be out in an outbuilding. Obvious decision. And then so then obviously, what are we going to do with this? And we had all sorts of thoughts, but I'd always been nervous of the archives where they were before, because there was a flat above them, a domestic flat above them. And I thought it only takes someone to have the bath or overflow or leaking pipe.
Yes.
And things wouldn't have been very good. So we just thought, right, a purpose-built archive, a visitor's room where we are now, properly temperature controlled.
Yes, I can feel that. I can feel the temperature right when I walked in.
And actually, I think it was a good decision.
Yeah. No, brilliant.
The castle holds archives of the royal visit in 1844, with the friendship of Queen Victoria and Lady Glenlyon, later the 6th Duchess of Atholl, recorded in private correspondence.
Throughout their lives, they wrote letters back and forward to each other. And we have all these letters that Queen Victoria wrote to her. And they're friends' letters. They're not political letters.
Right.
They're just two ladies writing about their families.
And how would they address one another? I'm just curious.
The Queen addresses her as Dear Duchess.
Oh, she does. So they were very close.
Very close. The 6th Duchess of Atholl was mistress of the robes or the bedchamber.
Okay.
And Queen Victoria actually sent Duchess Anne this drawing that she had done, explaining how she would like her train carried. We can see it's come from Buckingham Palace. Yes. A lot of the letters are edged in black, and we know this is after Prince Albert had died.
Right.
When she visited the castle in 1844, we have this house book here, which was kept by the housekeeper, and it lists all of the people that she brought with her.
No.
So these are all of the staff she brought with her.
It says at the bottom, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel it says 114 total. That can't be right.
No, that is. And
What?
when you think this was a quiet family holiday.
Oh my goodness.
And she brought her
It's like a whole community.
Yep.
It's like village.
She brought her upholsterer, just in case.
What? I noticed the piper as well, of course. Hairdresser.
She has a pastry chef, a confectioner.
A roasting cook.
Three just normal cooks.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Those were the days that no longer exist. But fantastic that you've got this incredible, incredible record. Now, when you were opening up that book, I did just spot this. It says private, keep this locked up.
So this is the letter from Lord Glenlyon to Lady Glenlyon about a private visit of Queen Victoria to the castle.
In 1844?
In 1844. So the same visit we see here.
Okay. Do you mind if I read a little passage here? Okay, it says, I have the very greatest pleasure and heartfelt satisfaction in placing the castle of B, Castle of Blair, is that right?
Yes.
And the forest of A, Atholl, entirely at Her Majesty's disposal for any length of period she may do me the honor to make use of it. So, wow, this is it. Absolutely incredibly special.
The enjoyment and privacy of Queen Victoria's stay at Blair Castle in 1844 was so treasured that the monarch bestowed a special honor on the men of the Atholl estates who had guarded the royal party. Bertie Troughton and I met up with Regimental Sergeant Major Graham Jack of the Atholl Highlanders to hear about royal connections and the history of the regiment.
Can you give me a little bit of the history and the origins of the Atholl Highlanders?
We go back so far in history. We were at Culloden. We were signed up to go to America in 1777.
Were you?
The American Wars, yes.
Oh
There
my
was
gosh, wow.
200 local men and 1,000 other recruits, all ready to go from Glasgow.
Right.
And the war ended in America.
Yes.
So our 12 companies were distributed through Ireland, and we were there for very nearly 6 years.
Okay.
And we were going to fight in India, and there was a problem with the men because there was no re-engagement bounty, and there was almost a mutiny.
Right.
And in 1783, we were disbanded.
Were you? Oh my goodness.
Disbanded.
Disbanded.
Not wearing what we're wearing today.
Okay.
This has all come about through Lord Glenlyon,
Okay.
later the 6th Duke. And the uniform you see today, with the exceptions of the white on the sleeves and the collar and the stockings, was the same uniform he put together for a retinue of men to go to Ayrshire for the Eglinton tournament.
How fantastic.
1839 it started, and that was it. So in 1842, Queen Victoria,
Yes.
this is our first touch with Queen Victoria, and Prince Albert were going to Taymouth Castle. Now, to get to Taymouth Castle, boat from Edinburgh to Dundee, coach from Dundee to Taymouth Castle.
Okay.
So they had to come by coach to Dunkeld. Now, Lord Glenlyon was aware this was happening, and he put out an invitation to Queen Victoria to have lunch in Dunkeld. So very early that morning, he set off from the castle here, and on his way to Dunkeld, he picked up retinues of supporters. And by the time he got to Dunkeld, if I'm correct in saying, there was 977 men.
No. Right. All to meet the Queen.
To meet the Queen.
Right. Incredible.
In Dunkeld. And there he entertained Her Majesty and Prince Albert to lunch. And she asked if any of the men could dance. And some of the men could dance. So they danced reels for Queen Victoria at Dunkeld. So that was the first time we'd ever met Queen Victoria.
Okay.
But this was before she started to look for a property in Scotland.
Okay.
She was looking for a castle in Scotland. She fell in love with Scotland.
Right.
The beauty.
Of course.
The people.
Who
people
wouldn't?
like us. She met. It was just wonderful.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Just 2 years later, in September 1844, when Queen Victoria and Prince Albert stayed at Blair, the Atholl Highlanders protected the royal family at the castle.
We had a guard at the front of the castle, and there was an officer and men 24 hours a day throughout the whole of her stay. And it was that friendship shown to her that brought about colours being presented to the Atholl Highlanders.
Right.
So we have colours today which are replicas of those first colours.
Yes.
And these were signed off and presented to the Atholl Highlanders the following year in 1845, and it gives us the right to bear arms in the Queen's defence.
That is incredible. And so that was quite an honour, is that right?
Very much
During
an
that time.
Absolutely, yeah.
And that's why the Atholl Highlanders are often referred to as the only private regiment or the only private army in Europe, because of the Queen's colours that we have.
Because of the Queen's colours.
You've got to come and see the Atholl Highlanders in the end of May, when we have the Atholl gathering.
Absolutely,
Because on the Saturday there's the full military parade, and it's, you know, we're about 100 men, including the band.
How magnificent. No, I definitely will come back. Now, you did mention something here, Bertie, and you said we. Now, I heard that we. So are you involved? What's the connection here? I mean, I don't see any dress here, but I'm assuming.
No,
you have one.
I am in the Atholl Highlanders. I'm a very low-ranked officer. Yeah.
Lieutenant Bertie Troughton.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, I don't look half as smart as Graham. I try, but...
So can you describe to me sort of the ranks?
So officers will start at lieutenant,
Yes.
captain, major, lieutenant colonel, colonel. That's the way it goes, and the colonel is duke.
Okay, right.
which is Bruce Murray, and he lives in Africa now.
Right, right.
When I started service, it was the 10th Duke. It was Bertie's great uncle, Ian.
Uncle. Yeah.
Yes,
Uncle.
yes.
It was him when I joined in 1977.
Okay, incredible.
I've been here a long time.
Yeah.
I'm in with the bricks now.
You're coming up to 50 years.
Yeah, coming up to
Coming
that,
up to
yeah,
50
yeah,
years.
yeah.
Now, can we just talk about this? This is spectacular. Okay, first of all, this is your, this is the Murray tartan. Right,
yeah.
so this is the Murray tartan. I mean, it's beautiful. I would quite like that.
These are unique. This dates to 1839, this particular plaid. These plaids are made of linen. They're not wool,
Right,
a
yeah, I
linen
did,
cloth.
when I touched it, I
and
felt...
they're very different.
Yeah, it's a thick linen.
Yes,
very thick
yes,
linen.
very much so,
Yes.
very much so. These are in the original. So
How
you cannot
wonderful.
replicate the colours. If you look,
Yes, yes, I see.
there is the new colours, this
Yes,
is old colours. You
colours,
cannot replicate that anymore. They are so old, and when you think of how many people have had this plaid,
Lovely, yes.
pleated,
Yes.
battle
absolutely.
wounds in it.
Yeah, yeah, you can see the battle wounds. It's incredible.
The plaid that you saw the old Highlanders wearing was a long piece of cloth. They laid it on the ground, they rolled into it, and a waist belt, pulled the waist belt through, pulled a bit over the shoulder to give you the same look as I have,
Yes.
but without all the paraphernalia, because I can't dress myself.
Very similar
I
to
need
how
somebody to
dressed
dress me.
this afternoon. Rolled them up in it.
I was wondering what was taking so long. Now I know. Now I know.
So that is why, you know,
Right,
that
yes.
is the plaid. And if it's put on properly, the back should look like an eagle's wing.
It looks exactly like an eagle.
Yes, it does.
So if you think of
he's put it
if
on
you
properly.
think of a bird of prey with its wings closed,
Yes,
that's how the back should look.
Yes.
Straight down the middle of the back.
yes. Bertie,
Yeah.
well done. It's perfect. It's absolutely
No, I wouldn't
perfect.
say it was perfect, but he's trying.
How magnificent. Now, can I just sort of, can we move
Oh,
up
yeah.
here?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Where would you like
Okay.
to start?
Well, yeah.
The juniper?
Yes.
Okay. Juniper is a bush plant which grows prolifically on the estate. This is a wild version of the juniper, and it does grow round. There's bushes at the top there.
Right, yes.
That's juniper bushes there. It's a very jaggy,
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
material. Right. So
Yes.
when you've done your training,
Yes,
and
and the
on the
Duke
day,
says yes.
on parade day, you will be presented with your piece of juniper. Up to that point, you've got a Glengarry. This is a Glengarry bonnet.
A Glen, well, I'll say
Glengarry bonnet.
Glen.
You've almost got a Glengarry bonnet.
I know,
You
I
could
was about to
upgrade.
say, I'm
Yeah.
quite close. I was trying.
A Glengarry bonnet, and what we do is here, when you are presented, become a full-time Atholl Highlander, you present me your piece of juniper, and the juniper then is put in behind your cap badge, like that,
Yes.
and then you wear that whenever you're on parade.
Wear that whenever you're on.
The ducal cornet, so that's our royal connection.
Yes.
Then we have the wild man of Atholl.
Okay, well, I've seen him dotted around, and I haven't asked yet, but it seems to be he's holding sort of a dagger and a key.
This alludes to King James III of Scotland, issued orders to Earls Crawford and Atholl
Okay.
to go and bring the Lord of the Isles, Earl Ross, into custody in 1475.
No.
He was creating a lot of trouble in
Yes,
the Isles,
yes.
and King James wasn't very happy about it. So Earl Crawford had the boats, Atholl had the men, they went,
They combined forces.
and yes, they went and they captured him, brought him back to Scotland where he stood trial. That is the wild man of Atholl, hence the key for locking him up
Yes,
and the dagger to capture him.
to capture him.
So 550 years ago,
Yeah.
1475.
The way back to
Incredible
James
history.
III. It's incredible history.
I started my working life on Atholl Estates here. So I started in the forestry in 1971, and I went to the farm in 1973, and I left the farm in 1980, and I joined the local police, Tayside Police. And I was in the police for 27 and a half years, and that is a long service police medal. And then that's the Queen's Golden Jubilee
And that's the
medal,
Queen's
because I got that
Golden.
when I was
Yes.
serving.
And so this is the Platinum Jubilee.
This is
so
the platinum
the
that
recent
we
one.
have done, and that's why it's yellow and black, because the ducal colours are yellow and black.
Yes, exactly. I do know that. How wonderful. Can I ask, did you ever meet Her late Majesty, Queen Elizabeth II?
I have, yes, on several occasions.
Have you?
Both privately and when she's been officially on things. We parade, we have walked through the Glen from here, as Queen Victoria did, to Braemar Gathering. And while the Queen is in residence, and now the King is in residence at Balmoral, every year they come to the Braemar Gathering for an hour.
Do they?
So what we have done in the last couple of times is we have got a little help, a little transportation up to Forest Lodge, and then we walk through the valleys into Aberdeenshire. Get picked up at that, so we can all do it in a day.
Yes.
Get picked up at the other end, and our other clothes, our uniform clothes, we're wearing the kilt when we're going through, and our other uniform clothes are there, and we get dressed up, and then we parade for the gathering. And in 2011, we presented our colours to the Queen in the royal box, and she came forward and she touched our colours, which just re-establishes that connection.
Exactly, exactly. Wow, well, what a treat for me just to meet you, be in your presence, you know, have you transfer some of your wonderful, amazing knowledge onto me. But I will say, Bertie, the next time I come up here, I'm looking forward to you being dressed as smartly as Graham is.
I'll never be that smart, but I can try.
The original colours granted by Queen Victoria to the Atholl Highlanders in 1845 are kept secure in the attics of the castle, where Kieran carefully unwrapped them to show me.
So here we are in the attics, and this is the original Atholl Highlanders colours that were awarded by Queen Victoria.
No, these
are the original flag, the colours, but they're in such a fragile condition we can't have them out on display. But there you see our wild man of Atholl.
Yes.
And the two colours.
And the two colours. Beautiful. So something like this, Kieran, I mean, of course it's very fragile. These are the original ones. Do you have to do any restoration around it, or is it better just to keep it as is?
These have actually been conserved, so they're now in a stable state.
Right.
So they are kept up here out of the way of the public and out of use.
Yes.
So they will stay like this, and hopefully that will mean the condition will be preserved for next generation.
Yeah, for the next generation. I mean, they are absolutely exquisite. What a treat to see this.
Thank you so much for joining me on this magical journey into the history and landscape of Blair Castle. It's been breathtaking. Be sure to join me soon for more historic house adventures in Scotland and across the UK.